But let's go ahead and get into it. All right. Not too much today, but welcome to the channel. Let's go ahead and get into it. Yesterday I was on PFF. Jeez. Yeah, I was on PFF. And let's see, what do I want to talk about? Let's see. Prospect. All right, potential landing spots. Okay, let's do this. Let's start that way. And my mouse seems not to work. Okay, let's see. Let's go to a mock. Let's just find a mock draft because that might be easier to find potential landing spots, and then we can. Let's see, mock draft for fantasy football. No, that's not what I want to use. Fantasy football mock draft. This is. Let's see, they got predictions on here. Let's see. No. Dynasty. That's Fantasy Pros again. Ooh, I gotta get better because I'm not talking. Alright. I guess let me just find a 7-round mock draft. I'm being lazy. 7-round mock draft. Let's do that. Being lazy. Probably need to stop. So NFL draft, live updates, latest mock draft rankings. Let's go to this. Probably won't have access to this New York Times. But let's see. Let's see if I have access to it. Let's see. Your views on the Giants. I read about a quarterback who needs further development as far as reading. Defenses, I don't feel good about it, considering Daniel Jones never developed that trait. Is this what they're saying to Joe Shane, or is this just them talking? This must just be them talking, but it doesn't really have. Titans picking Campbell 1. That's for sure. Pretty sure they should probably trade back, to be honest with you, but they're not doing it, so it doesn't matter. They ain't gonna do it. So the Tyler Warren, I seen him go to a couple teams. I seen him go to the Jets. I don't mind that because Justin Fields throws to the tight end. Who else did I see him go to? Bears. Now, I don't know what that would do with the other tight end they have, Kmet. Don't know how they would work that out, but I think it's Warren. I think he's just a better overall prospect than Kmet, so it's not really going to matter too much. And let's see. Are there any other spots? Something like the Colts, I've seen them. The Chargers trade up. They do have Cowboys. They said no to the 49ers. Luke Schoonmaker. But don't they have Ferguson too, don't they? Dolphins, defense at 13. Says Colts desperately need tight end, so that basically means anybody Chico Conco's shares sound like they're basically done. Yeah, so I don't think we need to talk about Campbell. Do you get a wide receiver with CeeDee Lamb? Maybe. I'm not sure if they do in the first round though. That would be. I think if Tet falls, then you go ahead and take him. I'm not too high on Matthew Golden, but as clearly as you see right here, Brugler's number 2 wide receiver is Matthew Golden. And if you're that high on him, you take him. Yeah, but if McMillan falls at 12, you definitely take him. Hunter's going to Cleveland. I don't think it's a guess. And if he doesn't go to Cleveland, he's going to the Giants. Tet, let's see. He's going to go do. Oh, you got to read the full profile on this website. Can I actually read it or no? I can. So create it's athletic. Never mind, I can't read it. All right, I need to actually find something where these people are going. Let's see, 7-round mock. Wasn't it like mock draft something? There's a mock draft site that kind of gives, and I can't think of the name off the top of my head. I don't know why though. It was a PFF mock. Says all 7 rounds. Okay. Yeah, here we go. This is simple enough. Let's see. We have the Titans, Cam Ward, easy. Oh. Shadir goes to Cleveland. How do I... Maybe I just do the first round of this, but Shadir going to Cleveland... Let's see. Who will his weapons be? You have Judy, Tillman. I'm not sure how good Tillman is. You have... Who else on offense, though? Running backs, you really don't have... You have Jerome Ford, who's decent, but they probably will get another running back in the draft class. I'm honestly trying to think of who their other weapons. They're going to have to get some other weapons up there to make it work with Shadur. But Judy could play the slot. Tillman could play out wide. They're going to have to get some other help, but it might not be too bad. Then, yeah, if Travis Hunter doesn't go to the Browns, then he clearly is going to go to the Giants. And that's going to make it simple. I wonder, what's the reasoning behind this? Let me see if I can bump this up so I can see it. Okay. It says the Browns have 2 apparent options here: Shadur or trade back. And I didn't even consider trading back. He has a 94.3 PFF passing grade, and the 2-minute drill at Colorado last season was the best mark of any quarterback since 2014. Interesting. Yeah, that's we'll see. Oh man, Tet goes before Genty in this one. So the Raiders take Tet, which I like that. He'd be the number 2 receiver there, and maybe probably start off as the number 3 option because I'm counting Brock Bowers as a receiver. So if you have Tet, Brock, Jacoby, pretty sure the Raiders probably pick up another running back. This will be fun. Let's just keep going through this mock draft. Yeah. So the reasoning behind it, the Raiders need juice in an offense that ranked near last in explosive plays last season. McMillan offers all-pro potential with a 6'5" frame. He racked up 92 career plays and 15-plus yards and 43 missed tackles. Also recorded a 90-plus PFF receiving grade at each level of the field and dominated man coverage with 89.1. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't say that he actually dominated man coverage when in reality he truly did, but it seems like people don't like to acknowledge that. That's fine. Like I said earlier, Jets, they take Tyler Warren. Says Warren led all Power 4 tight ends, 93.4 PFF receiving grades. And I'm assuming they said Power 4 because they already know Harold Fannin was actually number 1 in real life. But yeah, you don't know. Okay, so I'm not streaming. I just realized that, but it's fine. Let me see if I can actually. I guess I'm not connected to anything. That's fine. I guess I'm just going to record. I guess I'll just record this. That's fine. Yeah, if I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why, because it just says upcoming. That's weird, to be honest with you. Yeah, because I'm definitely recording myself. I'm glad I did that part. It's just not streaming, which is fine. I probably accidentally put it on private, and I don't know how to take it off. Especially not during the live stream. I'm over here looking at YouTube, trying to figure it out, and I forgot my mouse. Acts like it doesn't want to work. Let's see, hit details here. It says public. Schedule 11:10. Yeah, it's supposed to be on. So I'm not sure. It'll be fine. I'm still working out these kinks. Okay, let's just keep rolling. Do we have another? Because the Bears in this situation, they don't take Genty here. They take a tackle. Okay, now let's get interesting. Emeka Egbuka. Wow. Because I see the next Miami. Wow. Okay. That would change a lot. Okay. So you have Egbuka who goes to Dallas. The thing is, CD plays a lot in the slot, so I'm not sure. Maybe they just bounce Egbuka on outside too. But yeah, CD. Let's see. Says Ibuka's 91st percentile separation rate, 85.8%. This from this past season signifies he can be a boon to the Cowboys' passing game. That's going to be interesting. He definitely becomes the number 2 weapon. Because they're talking about Turpin on here, and who's the other guy they have? I can't think of another receiver, but immediately Ibuka. That's why any wide receiver that goes to the Cowboys is probably going to immediately become the number 2 wide receiver. So that makes things easier. The Dolphins take Ashton Jeanty. That would shock everybody. Now, the reasoning says Miami goes best player available here. Lands a top 5 prospect. The team has more pressing needs, but it's hard to argue against drafting one of the top running backs prospects of the past decade. Jeanty broke 325 tackles in 3 years at Boise, and he will fuel a culture change and allow Devon Achane to work more as a receiver. But my thing is, how many receivers are you going to have? You still have Tyreek, unless you're not planning to have Tyreek. That's what this was signal, I'm assuming, if they're trying to put Devon Achane on the outside. But you still have Waddle, who Waddle plays in the slot. So because I'm assuming Devon Achane will probably play from the slot, especially for the running back. I don't see Devon Achane winning outside. So I'm not sure. The reasoning is that sound here. Indianapolis does not take. They do not take a tight end. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's see who our next offensive player is. Marvin Hampton to the Broncos. Let's see. Yeah, they probably would make. Ooh, that would make things very tricky. I know that much. Jeez, I know if I had the 101, I would be scared then. That would be a nightmare trying to figure out what to do with Jeanty. Amari Hampton in Sean Payton's system. Yeah, that would be a nightmare. And then trying to figure out what to do with Jeanty, and then you don't want to take Hampton 1. But with Miami, he's splitting work. Jeanty, that is, will be splitting work, and you're not sure what to do with them on a fantasy perspective. So that would be my only issue there. But Hampton to the Broncos is great. Let's see. Do we have Luther Burden to the Saints? That is good, but we don't know who his quarterback's going to be right now. Yeah, it says on this mock trade, the Saints, they trade up with, with the Vikings. So the Vikings can get some extra picks, because I think the Vikings only have 4 picks this draft. So they need some extra picks. Saints trade up. Burden contributed to the wide receiver room, of course. Separation rate in 2024 ranked in the 88th percentile. 84% of his targets were considered open, as he improved his missed tackles force figure from 20 to 30 on 25 fewer receptions. That's true. Yeah, but who's going to get him the ball? That's a bigger issue there. Colston Loveland goes to the Rams. Yeah, I think the Rams will love that. And it was just play up on that offensive factor. Chargers, let's see. Who do they take? Matthew Golden. So that would just... Quentin Johnston gets downgraded in fantasy. Ladd's definitely still 1, but Golden probably becomes 2 wide receiver there. Let's see. Commanders don't take a running back like everybody keeps saying. Okay, now on to round 2, because we haven't. The Giants take Milroe. So he'll sit there and develop behind Russell Wilson. But that's still not a bad bet, though. So you had 2 quarterbacks go, because Jackson Dart didn't go first round. But you have Milroe go early second round. Yeah, that would be very interesting. A.L. Manor goes to the Titans. I didn't really care for A.L. Manor, to be honest with you, so hopefully it works out for him. Yeah, he definitely would need to play on the outside. What else we have? But are we picking up more offensive players? Because it doesn't seem like it. Jaden Higgins, I like this one a lot. To the Patriots, he could become the X receiver. Diggs can can continue to stay on the inside, but Josh McDaniels, he's a good offensive coordinator. If nothing else, it doesn't seem like he's a good head coach, but offensive coordinator, I think that's where his bread is buttered there. Let's see. But I like Jaden Higgins. I think I probably need to drop something tomorrow, but I believe he'll be my number 2 receiver. Caleb Johnson goes to the Bears. That would instantly make Caleb Johnson more appealing. Says Chicago needs more consistent ground game in 2025. Caleb Johnson could provide that spark. Johnson produced 43 explosive runs last season and would bring true home run potential to an already improved Bears offense. So that that's going to be, that would be interesting right there. That would be very interesting. Ooh, okay. So just looking at the Bears, they're saying took a tackle, interior defender, but PFF giving the grade of C. Well, I think he's giving the grade of C because technically PFF has 2 other running backs graded higher than Caleb Johnson. But what will really happen in real life, Caleb Johnson, basically a 225-pound running back who broke a lot of tackles this year. So he has a chance to be really good. And especially if the Bears are going to improve their offensive line, which they have, and then draft another offensive lineman in the first round, according to this mock, yeah, they would do pretty good. All right, it looks like it's a little minute before we get another offensive player. Oh, Jalen Royals. Yeah, because I like Royals a lot. He goes to Denver. All right, hold up. Oh, Denver took a running back, and now they get a wide receiver. Ooh, I like that. It says Broncos receiving corps lacks consistent separators. None of their top 3 targets in 2024 posted a separation rate above 58% versus single coverage. Royals, a savvy route runner with excellent body control, recorded a 66.7% rate in that same category. Now, that is against college competition, but still, I like Royals a lot. I think his injury history is what downgrades him a lot, but as just analytically, he's probably the number 4 guy from what I looked at. Zach, number 4 receiver. I think it goes Travis Hunter. Oh, no, sorry. It goes Ted, Travis, Jaden, and then Jalen Royals. So, that's interesting. Ooh, Green Bay takes Trey Harris. I would not like it, but they take him at 54. It says Harris is highly productive in Ole Miss vertical passing game over the past 2 seasons, making him an ideal fit with Green Bay. That makes sense because Christian Watson is going to be hurt. With the Packers ranking 2nd in deep attempt rate at 16% last season, Harris could bring immediate value as a field-stretching threat. Okay. Chargers take Arroyo. All right. Arroyo just has like an injury history, but maybe he'd be solid. I'm not sure how good he's going to be honest with you. He really never produced for real at Miami. So, we'll see. Travion Henderson, where he goes? To the Texans. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, wait. Hold on a second now. Did I miss something? So the Texans addressed their biggest need with a lineman in round 1 and a trade for Tyreek Hill in the 3rd round. So wait, they'll have Nico Collins, Tyreek, Christian Kirk. Ooh. That offense would be insane if they did that. But it says, now the focus remains supporting C.J. Stroud. Travion Henderson brings big playability out of the backfield. He ranks 2nd among all draft-eligible running backs at big-time receptions, showing that he could be a dangerous weapon in the passing game. He adds a versatile, explosive option to Houston's offense and could develop into a long-term replacement for Joe Mixon. That's exactly what would happen. So not this year, but in 2026, Joe Mixon would be gone. Yeah, so Travion wouldn't get much tick the first year. That's just the thing you would have to wait for on him if he goes to the Texans. Let's keep going. The Commanders take Jack Besh. They say wide receiver 2, but they have Debo, so I'm not sure how that's necessarily going to work. I know Debo is kind of like an everywhere specialist, but still don't see how this works in Jack Besh's favor. He is in a good offense. I will give him that. He's in good offense, but I'm not totally sure how that works for him. All right, round 3. How many running backs has it been? Is it 5, I think? Or was it 4? I think it's just 4. So I'm going to say Caleb Johnson, Travion, Hampton, and Genty. Yeah, it's just been 4, I think. Who didn't go that was supposed to go? Judkins. Yeah, I did not see Judkins' name. Huh. Somebody else named that was supposed to go, too. Who was the other person? Because it's Hampton, Henderson, Genty always. Then you have Judkins, Caleb Johnson, who always shows up in the second round. And then people were thinking all these other running backs like Tootin was going to be in the second round. I'm like, there's no, I doubt it. I doubt it. He had a good combine, but when you actually look into the stats and what he did at Virginia Tech, I don't know if Tootin's just going to get drafted that high. Okay. Jalen Noel, third round to the Cleveland Browns. I don't think Elijah Moore has been signed anywhere, so that might be a reason for this. That gets somebody out the slot. And remember, I was just saying Shedeur needs some weapons. This helps with that. Keep going. Mason Taylor goes to the Jaguars. You do have Brenton Strange there, so they will be battling it out. We'll see. I'm not totally sure how that would work. Is this the trade? It says Miami Dolphins via. So it seems like the Vikings are acquiring more picks, I guess. Dolphins receive pick 71. Vikings will pick 79 and 150. Yeah. Vikings are on a quest to get more picks. They select Jackson Dart in the third round. Now, the only thing about Jackson Dart going in the third round is he can run it, so I like that. But history and analytics from everybody I listen to say it's first-round quarterbacks, rushing quarterbacks that go in the second round, and everybody else is a crapshoot. Brock Purdy, you got lucky with him. Dak Prescott got lucky with him. But those are the only two guys. There might be somebody else like Russell Wilson, but that was a long time ago. But all these quarterbacks that come out, they never really produce. You're honestly taking a shot in the dark and just hoping. And that could just be a waste of a roster space. So that would be my only thing about that. Quinshon Judkins goes to the Raiders. Even though this is the third round, this is still a really good pick. It says the Raiders receive pick number 73. Jets receive pick number 73 and 164. Oh, so the Jets traded up earlier to 68. Did I not read it? Oh, I didn't read it because it was for a tackle. Makes sense. So Judkins, okay, so we upgrade the running back room. Yeah, I like that. He'll be in there with Raheem Mostert, Cecilia McCormick. Who's the other guy? I forget the white running back that's there who could catch. But he didn't really play. He fumbled like on one carry and they didn't play him anymore, which I did not like. But let's see what they have Judkins at. They said Judkins started Ole Miss, graded as PFF's fifth best rusher last season at 88.8. At Ole Miss, he led the Power 5 in yards, touchdowns, first downs, and missed tackles forced. He recorded a 41.2 breakaway rate as a Buckeye and only fumbled twice in his career. That's pretty good. Panthers select Xavier Restrepo. Now, I'm not sure how that works, especially if Jalen Coker is going to play the slot, because I believe Jalen Coker is better than him, and he's taller and faster, more explosive than Restrepo. So I'm not sure how this works, especially if you have Leggett. I feel like you would need another outside receiver for somebody, unless you plan to put Coker on outside, because Coker can win on outside. That would be the only thing, and then I guess you would bump Restrepo in there, but we'll see how that goes. Dylan Sampson to the Patriots. Now, that would give Ramondre some trouble, because Dylan Sampson is a very good running back. He goes in the third round to New England, pick 77. I like that a lot. It says he gained 929 rushing yards after contact, forced 70 missed tackles in 2024. Those are all good numbers. Kyle Williams goes to the Vikings. After all those trades that happen. I don't like this for Kyle Williams because he becomes – what was that receiver that came out? There was a receiver that just popped out of nowhere last year. I wonder, are they going to say it here? No, they don't. But, yeah, I believe he was the third receiver because he was really good. So, I don't like this for Kyle Williams if this happens at all, because Addison and Jefferson are entrenched in 1 and 2. Then you still have Hawkinson there. So this would immediately drop him down my boards if that was to happen. I would hate that for him. R.J. Harvey goes to the Steelers. And like I said, I would love this because I'm already high on R.J. Harvey. I would absolutely love this. I think he would take Jalen Warren's spot within a year. He's just so explosive. They said he brings Le'Veon Bell-esque patience at the line. Okay. If he does, I'm not familiar with it, to be honest with you. They said Harvey's 97 explosive runs over the past 2 years or second only to Ashton Genty among FBS running backs. That is really good. But RJ Harvey, like him a lot. This and they graded as A. I love this pick. If they get this pick in real life, Pittsburgh is going to be very happy. Let's keep moving. Any other offensive players? No, see some cornerbacks, linebackers, edge. Oh, Damian Martinez goes to the Browns. Ooh, you get a big, strong back in a Nick Chubb mold. I didn't even think about that. Ooh, he said he thrived multiple colleges and multiple schemes. He was one of the best in the nation with a 94.4 PFF rushing grade in 2024. With the Browns moving on from Nick Chubb, they need to find a reliable back in the draft. Yeah. And Damian Martinez at the end of the third round, that is very good value. I like that a lot. Ooh, yeah. Does that make him number? I don't think that makes him number one. I think immediately he'll be the goal line back, and then he'll eventually work his way into a starting role. It would take a second because I don't think. Ooh, this next pick is actually pretty amazing. But I don't think he. I think immediately I don't think he would be a starter. But again, in 2026, he could potentially be the starter. Next, we have Cam Scatterbo. I like this a lot. Now, we have Pacheco, who was coming off an injury, so we're not sure his health. But Cam Scatterbo can do a little bit of everything. He can catch, he can run, he might not be fast, which is fine. Only thing is, you still have Kareem Hunt there. They picked up Elijah Mitchell, who has a major injury history, so not too worried about that. But Scatterbo can do a little bit of everything. His ability to break tackles, 103 missed tackles forced, was second to Ashton Genty. See, he says he picks up every yard available, should be valued by a team like Kansas City who prioritize staying on schedule in the run game. I can't remember the guy they had, the alligator guy. But he was supposed to be that guy, but he kept fumbling the ball. So it'd be interesting if they get Scatterbo. I think Scatterbo's just a better running back. Just a better football player. Yeah, just a better football player in general. DJ Giddens to the Vikings. Okay, so Giddens wouldn't play. When I say wouldn't play, he wouldn't get much playing time in 2025 if this happens. But with Aaron Jones getting older, Jordan Mason not getting older, but injury history at this point, Giddens could find a way in that role. And I was messing around with some models. He pops on a lot of my models that I look at, and in my latest one that I made, now my models aren't necessarily the best, but I do look for similarities, and DJ Giddens pops up a lot, and him and RJ Harvey pop out a ton on my models. So I like this for the future. I might not necessarily like this in 2025, but in the future, I can see myself liking this. And as we continue, Savion Williams to the Seahawks, I wouldn't even consider this, to be honest with you. Wouldn't even consider it. And I would probably get burned because Savion probably will turn into the next great receiver. But I honestly wouldn't even consider this. He just wasn't a good enough receiver, in my opinion. So we'll see. But yeah, they don't have a description for the rest of them. That's cool. Let's keep going though. Tight end Terrence Ferguson goes to the Patriots. Yeah, maybe. Jaguars take Devin Neal. Okay. You still have Travis Etienne, Bigsby, but Devin Neal could make a role for himself. Tesla goes to the Bills. Okay. Analytically, I'm not too high on Tesla. He's actually a little bit lower than where I had Keon Coleman, so I'm not sure what the Bills would do with him because he's not. When I was looking him up, he has a good breakout age. He breaks out under 20, I think at some point at 19, young 19, I believe. But it's not like he's been super productive, though, for real. Analytically, right? Analytically. I'm just saying analytically. Isaiah Bond goes to the 49ers. So somebody to win on the outside. You have Juwan Jennings. You have Ricky Pearsall, Kittle, and Bond wins on the other side, maybe? I don't know. His speed score, I think I read somewhere it was like it was 99, basically tops. So if he's really that guy, that might work. Purdy just has to get him the ball. So we'll see. I'm not totally sure. Bond's been falling down. Analytically, he's just terrible, just being honest. So this will be a point where if film beats analytics, because I'm not touching Bond at all in any of my drafts. Gunnar Helm goes to the Colts. That's cool for Gunnar. Gunnar will stay with the Colts for me. Tez Johnson goes to the Broncos. In the 4th round, that's a lot higher than I would have thought he would have went. And that's a good solid slot receiver. Bo Nix, brother. So that might work for him. Ty Felton goes to Jaguars. Yeah, he'll be behind a lot of people. Harold Fanning to the Saints. Okay, hold on. Let me think. Because we have Juwan Johnson. Who just got hurt? The dual tight end. Dang, why can't I not think of people's names right now? But okay, but he's hurt. That's fine. So Harold Fanning could come in there, actually win some work if he's really good. So this could be a sneaky pick, a sneaky good pick. Jaden Blue. Commanders get a running back in the 4th round, so I think Brian Robinson's job wouldn't necessarily be gone, but Jaden Blue would have to prove some stuff, in my opinion, on that pick. Kyle Monaghan, oh man, goes in 4th to the Baltimore Ravens. Yep, he would definitely it was already off my draft board, but wouldn't be looking to draft him because it would take a Derrick Henry injury for him to get on the field for any consistent play time. And then there's still Justice Hill, who they like a ton. So I wouldn't even consider that. Buffalo Bills, Trevor Etienne. That would just be if they can't get James Cook to work. But then you still have Ray Davis. Torrey Horton to the Chiefs. That Chiefs receiving room gets crowded, but I like Torrey Horton. So I would hope that something could work out for him. Round 5. Let's see who else we have in here. I have a lot of people that. Oof. Pat Bryant to the Bears. Now, he can win on the outside. He's not going to get too much playing time, though, and too many looks. Yeah, because he would be at most the 3rd receiver. And that's not the 3rd option. And that's at most the 3rd receiver. Brashard Smith to the Cowboys. I thought somebody else went to the Cowboys, too. So, yeah, it's trying to beat Javonte Williams because Javonte could have a resurgence, but it's highly unlikely. I think I was looking. I don't know if his contract is even guaranteed. Him and Miles Sanders. So it's just trying to figure those two out. But yeah, Brashard Smith there. Mitchell Evans, honestly, wasn't even a prospect in fantasy for me. So we're gonna move on. Jalen Lane for Virginia Tech. I wouldn't be too interested. Not at Pittsburgh. I wouldn't be too interested here. Khalil Mullings at the Chargers. Honestly, that must be the Michigan connection because I don't see this. I'm not sure how good of a running back he is, especially translating from linebacker. But yeah, he's not even on any of my boards, to be honest. Antoine Wells, Juice Wells was supposed to be good with he goes to the Eagles, be buried behind that depth chart of I don't even know if Jahan Dotson's even on the team, but if Jahan Dotson's still on the team, he'd be buried behind him. You have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Goddard's there for now. You'd be buried behind a couple people. Dante Thornton to the Titans. Wide receivers that go to the Titans have a better shot at producing. Just because Calvin Ridley, even though he hasn't played much in the NFL, I say played much when I mean like he hasn't played like 8 or 9 seasons. But is 30-31 already. Dante Thornton and somebody else went to Titans, I believe. So any wide receiver, you just need to take an extra look at him. And Dante Thornton, actually for 6'5", I believe he's probably like 210 if I had to take a guess. But he ran a 4.3. He was pretty productive this past season, so that would be somebody to look at. Andrew Armstrong to the Seattle. He is my sleeper. I'm not sure how it would work in Seattle, but that is my sleeper, and I'm going to try to get him in every fourth round or after every rookie draft if I can, or just trade for him. He's my sleeper. He's an older prospect, but I think he can be something. And if he goes into the fifth round, that's just better for me. And I know what the percentages say, but I really don't care. Nick Nash had a highly productive, but he plays only slot, so I'm not interested. Well, I can't say it not interested because if he played, but he's not going to play the slot because Shakir plays the slot. And he can't win outside because he tried, so that's not going to work. I'm not even sure who this tight end is. I'm not going to lie to you. I never even scouted this guy. Thomas Fadone. Just leave him there. Elijah Badger to the Ravens. It would take some time for him to get on the field. Keandre Lambert Smith, same for him. It's going to take some time for him to get on the field. LeJohntay Wester to the Jets. Now, I'm not sure who the Jets, I can't remember who all the Jets taken so far, but him in the slot, it could be a lot better than Malachi Corley was last year. And that would be something to look at. Benjamin Urosek. Ben Urosek was supposed to be better at Georgia this year. Don't really see too much. Bajal Tootin to the Titans. Thinking of running backs. You have Spears. You have Pollard. Yeah, he'd be behind them. But he just had to make the most of his opportunity when he gets the chance. Because I'm sure Tennessee will let go of Pollard if Tootin is anything. I'm pretty sure about that. Bengals get Taj Brooks. That's a good pick. I like Taj Brooks. I like his profile. To the Bengals, if this is the 6th round, just take a shot, take a flyer. You have Chase Brown, just for injury concerns, but I believe this would solidify Chase Brown as a starter. Keep moving. Dylan Gabriel to the Packers means he's not playing. Don't even waste your time. We have tackles, linebackers, edge was Caden Prater at Maryland to the Bills. The Bills seem to be taking a lot of receivers in this mock draft for whatever reason, but I don't like it. Will Shepard to the Ravens. Ravens receiver just went over. I think Elijah Badger just went, and now you're taking Will Shepard. Yeah. Jarquez Hunter to the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are just trying to see if there's anybody worth stashing near the end of the draft at that point. Samuel Brown. I see him pop up, but not really. Analytically, I'm not really interested. Raheem Sanders. Yeah, I'm going to the 7th round. We're going to speed this up. Kobe Hudson, Jimmy Horn to the Raiders. Kobe Hudson to the Jaguars. Raheem Sanders to the Giants. Ronnie Gaston to Seattle. Going a bunch of offensive players, not that much. Kyle McCord to Arizona. Yeah, all these guys, I'm not. Ollie Gordon, wow. I forgot I didn't even say his name. He goes to the Detroit Lions. I forgot I didn't even say his name. Riley Leonard to Pittsburgh. All of these guys that go in this round, more than likely, they're not going to be playing. It's just being honest. And everybody says, what about Ollie Gordon? He won the Doak Walker Award in 2023. But his stats were so bad analytically. And even when he won the Doak Walker Award in 23, he is, for a guy who rushed for 1,700 yards, analytically, he was still worse than Quinshon Judkins, I think, in any year. Just analytically, especially on a PFF grade. So I think that's the issue. He never got better as he should, because the analytics, they tell a lot. Now, they said he put on weight, but he didn't lose it for the combine. He didn't lose it for Senior Bowl, so it doesn't sound like he put on weight. It sounds like that's his weight. Jordan James to the Bears. That sucks for him that he goes that late. Quinn Ewers to the Texans. Doubt he ever plays if that happens. Yeah, so. Yeah, I was going to list out the rest. Hey, Tyler Shuck goes here. But, yeah, that is the draft. Crazy thing is, I was going to do a lot more. I didn't realize this was going to take that long, but it makes sense. But I know I'm not streaming, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this thing. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.